Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking at the Log Partition feature within vRealize Log Insight Cloud so that we can take our logging data and control the retention and whether or not we need to be able to query that quite quickly or whether we just need to store it for up to 7 years and possibly retrieve it back in the future. I'm also going to look at how we can integrate this with vRealize Log Insight Cloud running in our on-premises environments, so that we can send it to vRealize Log Insight Cloud, and that because it's within the same product set, it makes it very easy for us to still be able to access and search through that data. Whereas if we export the data out of our on-premise environment and store it in some off-site storage or so forth, we've got lots of problems with it being a different system and having to bring it back and integrate it from that point of view. So I've got both environments set up in today. I'm going to take you through some of that now. I'm going to show you how to configure some of it. So first and foremost, this is my on-premise vRealize Log Insight environment. I've actually set up 2 of my Tanzu Kubernetes grid clusters to send log data to this environment. And you can see some of this coming through at the moment. And then if I open these up, we can see we've got 2 different environment names coming through as well, just denoted by a 01 and a 02D there. So if we go to vRealize Log Insight Cloud New as a tab, so this is available in 8.6. You can actually see that we talk about how to easily set up a trial of vRealize Log Insight Cloud and how we can consume this as well. So we're going to be looking at this feature today, log archival using the non-index partitions, but there's also a couple of other areas there as well, such as being able to use the actionable insights using the AI of Log Insight Cloud as well. But today we're just going to be focusing on this one. Click on setup instructions. It makes it really easy for us to tell us how to set up. So obviously get a trial account, or we already have an account at vRealize Log Insight. We need to deploy a cloud proxy in our on-premise vSphere estate, and we can forward the logs to this appliance, and this will then securely send that to our Log Insight Cloud instance itself. And I've already done that just to shorten down this video. Next, we need to set up log forwarding. So I'm going to take you through those settings now. And then in our Log Insight Cloud environment, we need to set up receiving these logs and sending them to a non-index partition with our log retention. You see, it's going to be quite easy to achieve this. So as mentioned, we've already set up the cloud proxy. So I'm going to go to administration. I'm going to go to log management. We're going to go to log filtering, and we're going to set a new destination. Type in your name, you provide the host, the protocol that you want to send it on, any additional tags that you want for the data to be available, and then any filters as well. So I'm just going to click cancel. I'm going to show you one that I made earlier. So we're going to look at this one. So you can see here, we send it to this host of my environment. So that's the cloud proxy that forwards the data to Log Insight Cloud. I've added an additional tag called source with the the value of vEducate-on-premises. And then for the filter, so which log should we be sending up there, is anything which has the environment matches either my TKG WLD02D or 01. And I can also send a test up through this as well and look for that test in the environment. And if I click save, it'll save that for me. If I click, one last bit I'll call out there. If we click Running Interactive Analytics, it will show you this filter term, Running Interactive Analytics, show you what data inside of your Log Insight will be forwarded to that destination. And then we can see here as well, after some time, you can see the amount of events forwarded and the forwards per seconds as well from that point of view. And that's it within vRealize Log Insight on-premise. So we're going to move now into vRealize Log Insight Cloud. We need to go to the Log Partitions feature. So we go to Log Management, Log Partition. You might need to enable this if you're on a Log Insight Cloud trial for Log Insight Cloud. You can already see I've got a number of index partitions set up so far, and it's as simple as creating a new partition. We provide a name, educate demo, provide a description. We select the difference between indexed and non-indexed. So index allows you to store logs for up to 30 days. You build for the storage of that log volume, but not for any queries of that log. However, if you use non-indexed, we can store the logs for a further amount of time. You are billed for the stored log volume, but also any queries made to that data, because we need to bring it back from that long-term retention. Here, you can go up to 7 years on the environment, and we'll give you a rough estimation. You type in the amount of days there, how long that's going to be as well. Whereas index, you can only have up to 30 days. To make that, to make the non-indexed partition faster for querying, we can also allow grouping by data sets as well, by particular value. So host name, environment, any of the fields that have been brought through. You can also then choose your query, so we can say whether or not we want to use one of our favorite queries. I don't have any in this environment. You can also then either just do text filtering, or we can add individual filters as well. So in this one, let's just do, let's try ESXi. Don't know if there's any ESXi logs in here at the moment. We've also got the ability to show a chart and show logs, so we can see if our query is actually working. If I do 192.168, oh, we had some come through there. We can see now that that query matches these types of events coming through as well. And then finally at the bottom, we can then say if we want to forward to index partitions. So the processing of this data as it comes into vRealize Log Insight is it will go to non-indexed by default, and then it will be moved into indexed as well as on a forward. And again, you've got the ability here to either add a filter of which logs, so maybe you don't want all of logs, maybe I only want these particular logs coming through instead, or we can forward all logs as well. So this is really important. If there's any particular data in these non-index partitions you do want to keep available for up to 30 days, because you may be querying them more often than you'd planned to with the other data as well. So you've got quite a lot of configurability available from that point of view there. So I'm just going to quickly cancel out this one because I've already created some already. So we're going to go into my vEducate TKG one that we've got set up at the moment. So if I edit this partition, you can see now I can't change the type of partition that this is. Basically, I can change the queries. I can again show the chart again. I can see where it's forwarded as well. This forwarding to index partitions will then look at the available index partitions that have been created and then run through them in the ingestion order. So a little bit like firewall rule processing on network firewalls, for example. And we can change that ingestion order here, and we can change that for both index and non-index partitions. And I think that pretty much makes sense. The higher the order, the first rule that gets matched. Anything that's not matched by this rule here, so it doesn't contain TKG, it's going to end up in our default log partition. This default log partition always exists and will not be able to remove from the system. Anything else, you can go off and decommission it. Decommissioning it stops that particular partition receiving any further ingestion of data, but it will remain in your system until it's hit the retention that has been set for that partition. Once it hits that retention date, it will then delete that partition fully for you. So if I'm going to click now into another one of my non-index partitions, for example. So this one's looking for OCP47 for my OpenShift logs. I can click to show the recent logs that have been indexed in here currently. And then I can also click to explore all the logs that are available in this. So one thing you will notice is that you have the ability now in Log Insight Cloud to look for multiple partitions that are available in the system. So we can see here this particular partition, and we can even see the query of what that partition is created on. And then we can see if I want to run a query on here, the first thing it's going to tell us is it's going to take time to execute depending on the size of the partition, because obviously this is stored in an archive version of our log storage format, so it takes some time to bring that data back as well. Now, if there's a particular reason you need to bring a set of data back to your environment, we also have this ability to recall logs. Again, you provide a name, provide a description, select which partition you're interested in, select the dates that you're interested in, and then do you want to recall all logs in this partition or filter these particular logs? And then who to notify via email once they're available. And the time can vary in terms of how many logs are available in that particular retention partition. and how long it takes for it to come back. So I did some basic testing on this, and it took around 20 minutes for 2 gigabytes of logs to be searched through and brought back in the environment based on the parameters that I'd set. And again, that's going to vary depending on what happens on the environment. If you're unsure about that, of setting this up, then please do speak to someone at VMware, and we can help you make the right choice of which index partitions to use and when you'd need to use something like recall logs as well. And then finally at the bottom here, once that's running, it's going to give you an action here, which is called the default recalled logs partition, so you don't actually change that. And then if I click into this, we can see which logs have been recalled and how long they're going to be available for, which now means I can go into this for this search filter, and then through the Explore logs, I can dig down into those logs as well. So if I open up here, we can see I've now got this partition available in my environment. But we're not really talking about log searching today, we just talk about how to set up some of these options. So thank you very much for your time today. Have a look through the rest of the blog post. I'm going to put the link up during the video as well. Give me a shout out if you've got any questions or queries.